Well, welcome everyone to Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game. I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist. On today's show, shopping for auto insurance, part 4 of our series on insurance protection and defensive planning with property casualty specialist Beth Glowacz. Beth, we're talking about auto. Everybody hates auto insurance. I mean, you know that, right? I mean,
they do.
Whether it's the little general running around, or, whatever, right. They just like, oh my gosh, it's like, it's pain enough you have to buy a car on a car lot, right?
Right.
Now you have to go and get insurance for it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I've noticed that carriers are all over the board. And when you're an independent, you're looking at 15 something carriers plus. Mm-hmm. Anybody out there seems to be pretty good price, pretty good benefits in the policy. Is there a pretty good steady person that you've seen, or no? Every year, everybody changes. Could be a new player.
Every year, everybody changes.
So it could be a new player.
It could be a new player every year.
When I'm looking for life or for car insurance, what am I looking for besides protecting my nice car and protecting the other person as well? What are the minimum? Does every state have its minimum?
Every state has their minimum. Ours in Texas is 30, 60, 25. Mm-hmm. We recommend at least 100, 300, 100. Especially on the cars, the price of the cars nowadays.
Well, let's just talk about that for a second.
Just to cover yourself.
Is that car replacement value or depreciated value?
Some carriers offer the replacement, and some are actual cash value.
Is the spread between the two good deal, bad deal?
It just depends on the carrier.
Okay, so if they're really close, you might as well go with the new one.
Exactly. If it's $50 difference, you always go with the better price.
I'm going with the new. When I think about this now, and this is something we didn't mention in the home as well, deductions, deductibles, okay. So, I think my home, I looked at it, and the difference between the $250 deductible on my home and a $1,000 deductible was nothing.
Right.
I said, forget it, stay at the $250. But does it matter on the auto? It seems like it does.
It matters on the comprehensive side. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, it matters on the collision side. The comprehensive side, if you do a $250 versus a $500, you're maybe talking $50 for the year. So it's not worth it. Mm-hmm. The collision between $500 and $1,000, there's not that much of a difference either. So you may as well go with the lower deductible.
Okay, so when you're in your general professional opinion, the last 10 plus years you've been in this game, people going higher deductibles to save on it now?
Not really. They're
not because they probably don't have a savings account to pay for it.
Well, it's what you can afford. That's what a deductible is, what you can afford.
Okay. So let's say I'm trying to cover myself affordably. Mm-hmm. I have multiple cars. Mm-hmm. Discount for that?
Yes, multi-car policy discount. So
I could have one. At the time my kids were all home, I had 4 or 5. I think I had 5 cars at one shot.
Right.
So I was paying.
You might not have thought you got a multi-car discount, but you were.
It didn't feel like a multi-car discount.
That's right, especially if you have children.
Now, when you have children, I notice that everybody says, well, I'm not going to let my child drive at 16. But the moment he goes for his test and he passes his permit test, somebody's notified or they know that he's 15 years old at the car place and they ding you whether you want to or not.
They're not supposed to. Well, in Texas, they don't. You're not required to put them on the policy until they have a driver's license. If you add them as a permit driver, there is no rate increase.
Okay, but if once they go to a license, maybe I need to define my discussion.
Once they have the license,
official license,
then they have to be added to the policy.
And the insurance company knows he's turning 16, and they're going to find that out, and they're going to talk to you, right?
That's correct.
How many people try to skate the issue?
You'd be surprised.
I bet.
There's a lot of them.
So if there's a problem, if you're not insured and your kid does something at 16, he's got a license and he drives your car, you are in some serious trouble.
Yes.
So
financial.
It matters.
Yes, it does.
It matters. Okay, so I'm thinking, I've noticed a demarcation line. 16's bad for boys. I mean, it's just bad.
It is.
My daughters didn't seem to suffer it was still not good, but it wasn't as bad. What's the next line up, the age group, where I'm starting to see a little, he's been keeping his nose clean. Mm-hmm. Is it 20?
It's 25 for the boys.
Okay, hold on. So from 6, I got to wait 9 years to see any kind of drop off. Mm-hmm. So they're saying
significant drop off.
So males between 60 and 26, really, basically, or 25.
Right.
That's the big problem time.
And what we try to, give our opinion to the parents is, if you want your premiums to stay at a, pretty, not skyrocket, give them a liability-only car, older car. If you're going to give them a car, give them something that's older that you won't have to pay for the comp and collision.
Okay, but if they did that, can he still drive his parents' car once in a
Yes.
while for a special date?
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yep.
So that won't bring the price up because he's got his own car.
Yes.
Okay, because my one
He can drive any car on the in the policy.
Yeah, my child says I'm taking going to prom. I don't want to drive my beater.
Right. I want to drive my dad's Lexus. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. He's all
Right.
over that. Okay. In fact, actually, I've noticed he started to drive it a lot more. I wonder if the insurance carrier was okay with that. Okay. Now we've talked about deductibles on cars, and I don't know that my deductible's high enough. You kind of have to go there as a regular consumer like Steve. I am. When do I throw a claim in there or not? I had a little bumper scrape. I also drove the garage door down on my bumper, scraped the crap out of that. So what I'm always wondering, when do you say so? If I'm $1,000 deductible and I have a $1,500 damage, am I filing that or forget it?
I wouldn't, but some people say, well, it's $500 more than my deductible. That's fine, and that's they have the right to do that. Yes, they do.
Right.
We encourage them not to do because it will come back on the next term and raise their rates.
Okay, so you have to be kind of, when I get up to a certain amount of a claim, so I had $1,000 deductible, am I filing at $2,500?
I would.
Okay, so there's a little space in there where it's a crapshoot whether you should or not. But when you get about $2,500 on a $1,000 deductible, hey, you should be doing it.
Right.
I've noticed the pricing is kind of substantial, and at least here in our state in Arizona, where we're recording, from $250 to $1,000. Is that true in Texas as well?
Yes.
So it's a jump.
It's a jump in price.
It's a jump. Okay.
It is a jump.
So if you're thinking now, I've noticed as I got older, I become more conservative. Don't drive like a maniac.
Right.
But as I get older, will I start getting dinged a little on my insurance because I'm 65, I'm 70, I'm 75?
They do. They start. I think it's around
Goes in
70.
reverse.
Yes. It's kind of like a 16-year-old. Not as bad as a 16-year-old, but it will. They do. Unfortunately, they do.
I might have to Uber myself for the rest of my life. I don't know. I have to think about that. Okay, now, if I'm on the road, Steve's on the road a lot. I don't know. Maybe you're on the road. Maybe the people that are connected to your financial advisory, they're on the road.
Right.
Maybe they're on the road a lot. You came here. Did you rent a car?
Yes, we did.
You did. Did you buy the renter's insurance for that car?
I don't believe he did.
Okay. Is your policy going to cover that if you had a problem?
Yes.
Okay. Do all policies cover my renting a car under my policy?
I can only speak for the carriers that I represent. They do.
Okay. But should you ask before, if I go on a trip, I'm going to call my
You should
agent
definitely
and say,
always.
hey,
If you have a question on your policy, you should always call your
am
agent.
I covered on this?
Right.
And is it
And
the
we get
same
that question
deductible?
a lot.
Is it the same deductible? So if I have $1,000, I'm good for the first grand?
Yes.
Oh, so it's the same policy provision for my rental car as it is my normal car.
The liability for sure.
Okay. I've noticed, as you said, it's not just having certain cars, but if I roll in there with a 442, my engine's a cranker. I'm talking serious power, turbo. Do I get dinged for more power?
Yes.
You do.
The price of the car, and whether it's a sports car, it puts it in a different category, and so yes, you will get rated up on that.
I've heard. I've had 2-3 convertibles in my life. Am I paying more for the soft top?
I don't think so. I think
so that's pretty straight up.
Yeah.
Okay. In your car, a lot of people have theft problems. Right here in Arizona, we're no different, right? We have people banging into our cars to get my stereo.
Right.
Do I need to have an extra little coverage for a really great stereo? It's not part of the normal car. I actually spent some money to put that in there. Do I need extra coverage for that? Do I have to tell you about that?
Yeah. On some of the policies that we have, you can add extra coverage to
Right, because I'm thinking that guy's looking through my window and he's drooling, and next thing I know, I'm gonna have a broken window. Okay, so my rental car claims we talked about, deductions. I want to talk about one last thing. I'm letting my son-in-law drive my car. He said their car's in the shop.
You're giving him permission.
I gave him permission. He wrecks my car. His insurance or mine?
Yours.
It is.
Or his.
I don't like your answer.
We were actually out of town, and our neighbor had borrowed our car, and he had an accident, and his insurance paid.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that is the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's great. That's good to know. Listen, don't forget to watch part 5 of our series on insurance protection and defensive planning. Special insurance for the special things you own. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, or financial advisor. You've been watching Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game.